Hi, it's me. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. And for those who checked out the last episodes, they were very in tuned. But I did say that I wanted to talk today about levels on. Basically, it's part of the Unstuck series that I'm kind of just starting off with because that's just what's real to me right now. Just getting unstuck, getting out of the funk, 2020, 2021, whoever you are. But today I wanted to talk about how to become a no limit person. Again, I shared a little bit on the other channel, other episode of the, I got this from the Wayne Dyer book. It's called No Limit. And I just kind of wanted to share on based on my experiences, if you guys have any tips, leave it in the comments or let me know. But I did want to kind of share on when you are in a state of inertia, when you're stuck, when you feel like not doing anything, different steps on how you can just kind of motivate yourself to become a no limit person. Now, again, if you have listened to the audio book, being a no limit person is like some straight up getting out of your comfort zone ish, out of the world. I'm not expecting anyone to be there, but on this journey, I do want to encourage people to start. The best way to get out of inertia is to get moving, motion, which is the first step. Move, do something. When you find yourself in a funk, when you find yourself in a place where, I don't even want to say depression because everybody's different. I don't want to give no recommendation to everything. This is just kind of like what has helped me. When you find yourself in a place where you're not where you want to be, you just lost. You don't know where you want to go next. You don't know what you're into anymore. When you just kind of lost all that desire. The first step I will say is just get moving. Start with something. If it means working out, if it means jogging, if it means doing research about what you do or you don't want to do, just move, do something. I talked about on the last episode, a lot of therapists will say if you are going through depression, they recommend exercising because what that does is release, hormones, endorphins. It just pushes you to, it just gives you kind of it makes you feel good. It gives you the feel good emotion. So I would even recommend that. Start working out if you have found yourself in a place of bunk. So that would be level 1. So if you guys have any other questions on that, let me know. Number 2, I would say this is something that is easier said than done, but it's perception. It's your choice. You have the choice on what to focus on and what meaning you give out of life. I had a lengthy conversation with you guys last time on my episode about overcoming that and what I went through. One other thing that really helped me is what meaning I gave to, the death of someone. Does it have to mean that your life is over? Does it have to mean that the person will be forgotten forever? Does it have to mean that, you stop loving the person because it's not there? Does it mean that you have to stop calling them your sibling? You don't, it's whatever meaning you put into something that usually makes things worse. So I say put a different meaning to it. You can choose to celebrate someone's life. I'll use example of what I spoke about. If you're finding yourself oh, I'm not where I wanted to be in life, career, whatever, what meaning are you constantly putting in that situation that keeps putting you in that state of fun? Because if you say, oh, I'm lazy, oh, the industry is too saturated. And I'm in Los Angeles, so I can tell you about a lot of industries that people, if someone had to tell themselves, if any actors had to tell themselves, I don't want to do this because it's saturated, they would have not been any actors, basically, because everybody's doing everything. So I would say stop putting certain meaning to things that it does not innate, it doesn't, it immobilizes you. So it keeps you in a state of inertia, keeps you stuck. And just understand that you have a choice, whether it's to think negatively or positively. There are cases, obviously, with like bipolar, and when it does get to a state where it's like mental disorder, where you can't really control what you think. I'm not talking about that state. Obviously, if you're in that state, please see a doctor, a medical profession. I'm not here for that. But if you are in a state where you're medically sane to some extent, you have a choice on what you choose to put meaning into that. So that's number 2. The next step 3 is what basically number 3, but step 3 is basically where questions that you would want to ask yourself when you are in a state where you feel stuck. Number 1, where are you right now? I think you need to identify where you are emotionally, physically, mentally. Where are you? I'm jobless. I'm heartbroken. I'm grieving. I have no passion. I've lost purpose. I'm sick. Where are you right now? When you do find out, ask yourself, what do you want out of life? I think that's the next step, because a lot of people just say, "Oh, I'm not where I want to be. Oh, I would really like to do this. Oh man, I wish I could do this." For all my French speaking, I beg, I'm gonna just be speaking in English, because please don't ask me, oh, can you, because we just don't have enough French speaking people in America. So pour tous mes francophones, la vie how would I translate that? La vie devient ce que tu penses que ça est. Donc, si tu penses que la vie serait une certaine, basically what I'm saying, life is what meaning you put into it. So, where are you in life? What do you want out of life? Okay, just say it. I want to be I want a career, and you fill in the spaces. Like, however bold it may be, sometimes you may need to tame yourself a little, sis, because if you're saying, I want to be an NBA star and you're 40 years old, that's a little, but just give yourself realistic dreams. Like, where are you? What do you want to be? That's, that's still step 3, but that's the next question you ask yourself. And what you want out of life. What do you want out of life? Where are you right now? Where do you want to be? What do you want out of life? Oh, I want happiness. I want financial freedom. I want great relationships. I want solid friendships. Like, ask yourself that and write that down. And the other thing is, what does your best year look like? Now, I told y'all, I'm going to keep 100. This has been a shitty year for me. So this would not be how my best year looked like. Obviously, outside of my husband, my son. Ask yourself, we will all have human experiences, and that's just it. If you're having a great time, I pray nobody ever has to go through shit. But, if you're having a great time in life and everything is handy, there will be tough times, maybe not as traumatic, but there will be tough times. But what does the best year of your life look like in the means that you can control? Because those things that you can't control. What does that look like? Are you working for yourself? Are you happy? Are you in a good place mentally? Are you working out more? Are you being more audacious? Are you in a healthy relationship? Like, what does the best year of your life look like? Write that down and just be bold. Like, say, I wake up at 7:00. I got my own business, I have a husband, or I have a thriving relationship, I am financially free. I can travel whenever I want to, or I'm moving up the corporate ladder, or I'm in a level that I'm content in and I'm investing or whatever. So write down what that is, or I'm coming to a place where I'm finally coping with grieving. I'm not stuck all the time, just what does that look like for you? Write that down. And the other thing is I don't know if I brought that up, but I did bring it up in the previous episode, but realize that it's about progress, not perfection. Progress equals happiness. A lot of us get stuck. Like even me wanting to do this YouTube thing, I could have been stuck on like perfection. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta have this, and that. Just start. Just start. I think that honestly brings people happiness when they just realize that they got out the funk of like, okay, I'm gonna do it when, I'm gonna do it then. Hein, quand tu te dis, oh, je veux commencer quand j'aurai ça, quand la vie serait parfaite, you know, you tell yourself, I'll do it when life is perfect. Honestly, guys, I could have told myself, I'm gonna go back into this YouTubing thing when life gets easier, but life has shown to be harder. It's just is sometimes, you know, it happens. So if you keep waiting on then when things are perfect, when things are all good, it may just not happen. So just focus on progress. What can you do now? Don't think big. Think right now. Think small. You know, it's the small things that do lead to the big things. So what can you do now on the way to where you're going? Yeah, think about another thing is just to think about, be outcome driven, not obstacle driven. And that's something that I've learned this year. If I always have to think about like to me, honestly, I feel like I kind of struggled with some PTSD, honestly, with everything that has happened this year, into like saying, okay, I'm not going to do this because something bad's going to happen. You know, like, oh, what if I start and I'm not ready emotionally and I have a breakdown or blah, 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 you know, little things like that can just like stop you from doing anything because you're already anticipating for the worst. You're so obstacle driven instead of outcome driven. The goal is to realize that on the way to your dreams, there will be many bumps. There will be many obstacles. You have to prepare for that. It's like if you're in Texas and you're on your way to California, you're driving to California. You have to be real. You have to prepare yourself for stopping at a gas station, sleeping at time, taking a nap. You know, things may just pop up in the road, like Texas where those armadillos or whatever, you know, a fox, a snake or something. You have to be prepared for that. So when you do have a dream or you have a goal, just be prepared for the obstacles, but don't be driven by them. Just be outcome driven. That's another thing I could say. Having clarity is like a huge thing. You know, they say girls have dreams and women have goals. How does it the saying say? You know what I'm talking about? Goals, you know, like it's one thing to have a dream, but it's another thing to have a goal. Like goals are planned out, strategies. Like have clarity about what you want. If you want to get out of debt, says look at your bank statements, look at your spending, like tell yourself by this month I want to have, you know, by this year I want to decrease this debt and that debt and whatever, you know. Don't just say I want to be debt free. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to make itself happen, my dear. You have to do, you got to get up and just do something. So that's where I would say just have clarity about what you want. Like if it's starting a YouTube channel, I would say your drive should not be to have a lot of subscribers, honestly. Your drive should be to have quality content that people want to hear. You know, if it's, you know, what, starting a business, it's, you know, you should just have clarity on what the need is, what the business is, like what the industry is, what the market is. Just have clarity. Y'all get what I'm saying? If you have any questions, you know, feel free to leave a comment. The other thing is when you do have clarity, this is kind of jammed in, I think, still step 4. I stopped saying the steps because, you know what I'm saying? So it might be like 10, but you know what I'm saying? Saying no to distractions. When you have a goal and you have to, like, if you are in Cali and you're trying to go to Texas, you can't all of a sudden find yourself in Miami. That was some distractions. And we find ourselves doing that in life sometimes. It's like, okay, I'm going there. Then all of a sudden everybody's doing that and you find yourself there. So if your goal is to be debt free, you can't be like going on vacations like all your Instagram curated friends that show the highlights of their life are doing. So you need to avoid distractions, and that's where clarity comes in. You have to put all your focus in. And when I say being mentally whole, emotionally whole too, sometimes you need to stay out of social media if that's what's going to help you be mentally well, or sometimes you need to stay away from like bad friends, or sometimes you need to get a therapist and say, I'm going to get a therapist until I feel like I'm at a better place, it's the distractions. If you feel like something is usually a trigger, pay attention to it, because that could be a distraction too, an indication that, yeah, okay, I'm going off. So that would be, I'm just gonna stop saying the steps. We'll figure out at the end of the video. Yeah, saying no to distractions. And another thing I will say also is having a dope support system. Friends, family. If you ain't got no friends, check your life. I'm just kidding. But solid friendship, and it's not about quantity, it's quality, right? Like people that are honestly there and believe in you, that you can call when things are tough, that you invest as much as they invest in you, family, people in your corner that will help you when you say, hey, I have this goal in getting from A to B. Don't try to aim for A to Z. Progress, not perfection, like we said. Just someone that's going to help you take those baby steps that encourage you when you want to give up. So, support systems are huge, because none of us get to anywhere in life without people. And if you think you do, that's your problem, and that's where you're not moving forward, sis. But that's what I would say is, get a great support group. And we just gonna say this is step 10. But gratitude is another like thing. I will say I usually can't stand people that be like, oh, gratitude, manifestation. Yeah, wake up in the morning, pray. Oh, I love the sun, and all that. It's a little extra, yeah. But the concept behind it is to focus on what you do have instead of what you don't have. For me, on my like journey with mental health and all this stuff is basically focusing on the good memories that I do have that I have had with my brother, focusing on how I can be there for his children, focusing on everything I've learned from him and how I can implement that in my own life, just and being grateful and just honestly thanking God for the experiencing that I was lucky to have known him. Thankful for my son who's alive and well. Thankful that for health, for my family. I think when we start with a state of gratitude, it's so much easier for us to attract things, because you get into a state of like just being content. And I know it's hard, and I'm not trying to fake it like I'm all in gratitude and whatnot, but I'm just telling y'all what works. I may not follow it all the time, but I'm just telling you guys what works. But yeah, gratitude, faith, good support system, being clear about what you want, avoiding distractions, focusing on progress, not perfection. That's a huge one in life. If you want to go anywhere, don't focus on like the end goal. Like you should think about the end goal, but don't be so focused on, I want to be there. Like just be present in the little steps. Like, just me being a mom, sometimes I want my son to start sleeping through the night, and that's just not what happens. And I had to just tell myself, well, at that point when he's not teething or sleeping through the night, he'll probably be 5, and I won't have this moment where he's little and I can control where he is. Real talk. So I'm just learning to just be present and just focus on the little miracles, thank God for small miracles. So that would be basically what I want to share on like being a no limit person. If you ever want to read that book, I would really recommend it, called No Limit by Wayne Dyer. You can find it on audiobooks. You should really sponsor me for this, but whatever. Speaking into existence. But, honestly, it literally goes from inertia to coping to, there's another level. I think it's inertia, coping, and mastery. We don't all, when he says mastery, he's talking about those people that are just doing it in life. They're like, I want to learn language tomorrow, and they learn it. And they don't use excuses to stop them, like, oh, because my parents weren't there, that's why I'm this way, or because this happened to me in life, I'm not doing this. So there's just no victim mentality. We don't always get there, but that's the initial goals, is to get to a point where you're not perfect, but you can master your own journey. So you may be in a state of inertia, but the goal is to not be immobilized. As long as you're like, I'm not going to let what's happening to me stop me from moving forward. I may feel it, but I'm going to keep moving forward. That's the goal. And that's my mantra, keep moving forward. That's always been my thing. Just keep moving forward. Just take one step. So if you can't run, walk. You can't walk, crawl. Listen, you can't crawl, shift, shovel, swift. You know what I mean? Something. You know what I mean? As long as you're not staying still and getting bed sores, you know what I'm saying? Do something. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions on anything else you would like to talk about it, these are just the steps, the 5 or 10, 15 steps to overcome or, get unstuck and become a no limit person. So stay tuned for your next episode. Check me out on at the Masterpiece Podcast on all podcast streaming platforms. Find me on social media at Masterpiece, MasterSpiece, and I'm Elisabeth at Elisabeth Kadesi on Instagram. But I'm Elisabeth Tubajika. I don't want to offend my husband. But I didn't change the username because I was like, why? Yeah, I'm just too tired. But I'm married. I'm claiming you, boo. All right, guys, stay tuned. I'm gonna check you guys later. Bye. Everyone, welcome to the podcast, the Masterpiece Podcast. Welcome back to those who are tuning in. If you're asking why I have these glasses on, I'm having a Negro moment. It is nighttime and I have sunglasses. But for those who are questioning, these are actually going to be part of my clothing line. Stay tuned. But de toute façon, bien si tu donnes une raison pour laquelle tu ne peux pas avoir la prospérité, tu ne peux pas avoir le succès. Si tu donnes cette raison, c'est ce qui va devenir. I hope that makes sense. But yeah.